Hi, welcome to Punchline Talks, the business breakfast briefers. I'm Mark Owen, and each week I invite a panel of business experts to review the morning newspapers, find out what's happened in their own individual business, their own individual business sectors, finally, what's caught their eye in this week's Punchline. But before I start, I just want to thank our fantastic sponsors, Hazelwood's Accountants and Business Advisors, and we really couldn't do the show without them. Okay, if you like the show, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's meet the panel. Today we've got Gareth Edmondson. He's the CEO of Cheltenham Borough Council. The District Council employs around 450 staff. The turnover for 24-25 is projected to be approximately 18 million, and they service a population of 118,000. Really great to see you today, Gareth. I know you've got lots on your plate. One of the things we want to cover today is the Golden Valley development, the sale of the Municipal Building, if I can say it properly, devolution, and what's happening at the airport as well. Lots of things going on for you guys. We got Priti Diniz, MD and founder of Pretty Smart Business Solutions. The company helps businesses win work a pretty smart way, specialising in management of bids and bids writing. They have worked with companies from Siemens Energy, SSE, Balfour Beatty, Total Energies, and many more. And Priti set up the business over a year ago. So we really want to find out how it's gone, the mistakes you've made along the way, Priti, and also, before you go, your number one business tip for writing a bid as well. I'd like to find that about from you too. We have Simon Hewer. He's the CEO of Hewer FM. The company based in Waterwells Business Park has a turnover of 22 million with over 150 staff. Is a major regional player in heating and renewable sector. Over a year ago, he went for a management buyout. So we'll find out how it's all gone, the good and the bad of it. Would he have done anything differently? And what's next for the company? Because coming down the tracks, it's your 60th birthday. Well, the company, not you, Simon. Oh, I don't know.
Close.
Anyway, don't have to answer that question. Last not least, we got Kevin Harris. He's the CEO of Constructing Elegance, could be Elegance, Excellent Southwest. He leads the regional agenda with the best practice in construction industry, driving innovation, championing collaboration, encouraging greater integration across the supply chain. He is also a key player developing future talent as associate construction lead of Gloucestershire College. And most recently, he's just become the chair and non-exec director of Go Community Rail Partnership. He wears more hats than he means, but what I really want to find out from today is how is the construction industry faring? What is the marketplace like? What's their challenges? Are we training enough people for the government's target to hit 1.5 million homes at the end of this parliament? Find out all about that from such an expert in the field. So great to have you on. Before we start, let's see what's making the headlines today, please. You're off, courtesy of the BBC. The Times. Talks with up to 9 nations for asylum deal. The Daily Mail. Starmer lets squirming by Albania farce. The Eye. UK scrambles for new migrant deal in Balkans after Albania snub. The Daily Telegraph. Children to be caught to show some grit. The Financial Times. Economy registers fastest growth in the year. The Guardian. Bonus Thames Water to be blocked from paying bonuses out of. Sorry, can you all see the screen, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. The Metro, 9.5 billion, staggering cost of benefit fraud and claim clangers. And the Sun, Foreign Secretary yelled, effing French at me, says fair cab driver. Taxi gate, says the Sun. The Daily Mirror, a smirk, but no reply. Maddie McCann's missing alleged bastard. Anyway, the Daily Express, mum deserves peace of mind in right to die fight. And the Daily Star, her Madge, yappy and glorious. This is Princess Fergie, or not Fergie, sorry, saying that the ghost dogs talk to her from the Queen. Typical Daily Star. What a complete mix that is. Okay, let's see. Let's start with you today, Simon. What have you picked out from the papers?
Hi, Mark. Well, I noticed an article in the I paper, which was surrounding the investment, £63 million investment into the Lucasade factory at Colford. 2 things caught my eye. One is that it's local. It was also covered in Punchline, so well done for that. So great local business. £63 million aimed at reducing packaging, and I'm quite passionate about this because every time I receive something through Amazon or at work through business suppliers, the amount of packaging we've got to try and deal with to recycle, and the challenge of recycling for people. I just think we've got to, as probably as a country for sure, we've got to get better at recycling and making it easier for people to understand what goes where. And we've got this new scheme down at in the offices now where we're trying to be better at recycling. And you just see people standing by the recycling bin, scratching their head all the time. And in the end, they can't make their mind up. So they all stick it in the general waste, which is which is not what we're trying to achieve. So great to see the investment in local business. Great to see it being invested in reducing packaging and waste. So that was one of the articles I spotted. Move on to the second one.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I was really interested to see in the Daily Mail, there's an article where there's an increase in training being provided to hairdressers to help them spot early signs of skin cancer. And apparently over 39% of those people who were advised by the hairdressers about, moles that looked a little bit suspicious, went on to find they actually did have a form of skin cancer that needed treatment. And you're thinking, well, what a fantastic initiative. I mean, I don't look at my head at all. I know it's on top, it's above me, so to speak. So, I mean, who else does look at your head? It is your hairdresser or your barber. I thought that was a fantastic initiative. So, very interesting. Hope that continues. And then the last one, and a more of a business front, in the Times, there's an article about Dior being the latest big business being hit by a cyber attack. Obviously, we've all heard the news about Marks and Spencers and so on and so forth. I actually went on to a cybersecurity seminar recently with a local business, and I spoke to the consultant, and he said to me, if you want to be 100% safe from cyber attack, disconnect yourself from the internet. And that was his words of wisdom, because it doesn't matter what security you put in place, the hackers will eventually find a way around it. And the other point he said was, don't think your business is too small. If you're a profitable business, doesn't matter how big you are, you will be a target. They will find you're a profitable business, capable of paying a ransom, and you're a target. So those were the three bits I picked up from the papers.
Okay, thanks so much. It must be at the forefront of your mind as well, Gareth, obviously Chief Executive of Cheltenham Borough Council, finding out what's happened to Gloucester, losing over £1 million, their cyber attack. Let's bring you in, Gareth. I mean, obviously, big issue for council like yours as well.
Cyber attacks or potential cyber attacks are a huge issue for every council. I think the sort of feeling in the sector is it's sort of a matter of when, not if, no matter how much you spend on trying to put as many protections as you can. And we have a really good cyber team, and we do all the right things. But if companies like Marks and Spencers and the Co-op are vulnerable, then I think it's a timely reminder that everybody is vulnerable. And it's just that reminder, just how sophisticated cyber attacks are becoming, and just how vigilant everybody needs to be.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. What have you picked out from the papers, Gareth?
So my first story that's been featured in quite a few of the papers is just the ongoing sort of discussions between the EU and the UK about sort of trade agreements. And I think it's interesting that that the papers are reporting that they seem to have hit a couple of roadblocks. So one over sort of fishing rights, where UK have only offered 4 years, I think, and the EU are pushing for more. And similarly, I think there's been sort of a few issues with the sort of youth mobility around what people pay around university fees. So I think it's going to be interesting to see whether Kia will come back from a summit with any kind of agreement, or whether we'll be continuing to negotiate with our EU partners. So that's been featured in quite a lot of the papers this morning. I've picked a specific one out of the Financial Times that's about infrastructure, and I think this has a kind of a bit of a local connection, really, and it's talking about northern politicians talking about how essential it is to get rail infrastructure investment in the north to kind of unlock economic growth. And I think it's very relevant for Gloucestershire in particular, because I think one of the things that we'd all feel is that we need infrastructure investment as well, not just in Gloucestershire but in the region. You look at M5 corridor, you look at the connections between Gloucester, Cheltenham, and discussions about how we can improve public transport links. And I think there's a similar call that would come from the southwest and Gloucestershire for infrastructure investments. And then the third one I'm picking out, which I'm going to stay completely politically neutral on, and I picked it because in the job that I do, we obviously run elections, and it's always really interesting when we deliver elections to see what the outcome is. And so there's a story this morning about Bruce Springsteen going on tour and using his tour to give speeches, political speeches, where he's obviously not the biggest fan of President Trump. And I think what was interesting in the last American election is that there was lots of celebrities putting their political views out there that didn't seem to make any impact at the ballot box. So I think what will be really interesting to see is whether speeches like that have any material impact on the way that people think going forward.
I couldn't agree more. I was really surprised that Taylor Swift didn't make it happen for Kamala Harris. I really thought she had a big, massive sway, but hey ho, you're right. I don't think it does work, doesn't it? Thanks so much for that, Gareth. Great stuff. Priti, let's bring you in. Great to see you again. What have you picked out for the papers, please?
So I'll start on the good note. So UK invests 225 million in an AI supercomputer. And this is called the Isambard AI supercomputer at the University of Bristol. And it's making it the UK's most powerful AI supercomputer. So what will this do? This supercomputer will be used to develop new drugs, vaccines, and treatments for diseases like Alzheimer's, heart diseases, and cancer. It will also be used to improve the detection of melanoma in a wider range of skin tones. So,
wow.
Yeah, so that's my first one. The second one I chose was from the Telegraph, children to be taught to show some grit. Now, I've got kids who go to school, and I know what it's like when I hear stories from things that they come and tell us what kids are, whether they attend or whatever. So maybe mentioning some statistics here. So in the year pre-COVID, 2019 to 2020, the attendance levels were 6.8 million. There were non-attendance, and now in 23 to 24, the statistics show 11.5 million. So
wow.
As you can see, that's a massive drop in kids not attending, and the government is intervening here, and what they're trying to do is trying to bring in hubs, and then with that, they want to boost their mental health, and really early intervention is the thing, and bringing NHS into the fold as well. So there's a lot of thought going into this, and it's really the need of the hour, really.
Without a shadow of a doubt, mental health in young people is a big issue. Let's be honest about it. We all work in business. We hear about it constantly, and the resilience of younger people is just isn't there, is it? I blame social media myself, but thanks ever so much for that, Priti. I'm going to bring you in, Kevin, now, because time is zooming by as well. Kevin, what have you picked out from the papers?
Well, I picked a topic one for me on construction. This is about the silent mental health crisis that plagues our industry, actually. Male construction workers are 3 times more likely to die by suicide in the UK than the average. So I think it says 355 skilled workers tragically in the last year. So the Chartered Institute of Building has revealed that 28% of workers have had suicidal thoughts in the past year, and it really stood out to me. There's a real stigma around this, I think, and a lack of support. And I think the industry has done quite a bit towards it, but obviously there's still a long way to go. So I think for me, we shouldn't forget that people are struggling silently in all businesses, but construction particularly.
Let's stay on that for a minute. Is it because does the report say because of the pressures of the construction industry, because business is bad, or it's just?
Well, it says the long hours, obviously, financial insecurity of the industry, late payments coming in. The payment system in construction is not great. That sort of macho culture from the males, limited job security, all those sorts of things, really. I think it just plays all of its part. And of course, that a lot of people are working away from home, aren't they, for long periods of time. So, yeah.
Well, just we're going to stay with you, Kevin. Actually, for your point as well, your stage, shall we say? The construction industry as a whole, what is it like at the moment out there for them? Is it is it just chock a block, or is it just difficult? Still late payments, still rising costs, all those sort of factors.
Well, the answer is yes. But I speak to construction heads most of the week, and what I'm picking up is that the larger businesses are probably not seeing work coming through in quite the way they want it to, but the sort of SME side of things seem quite buoyant. The ones I'm talking to, whether they're playing it up a little bit just to make just to feel good factor, but I don't think so. There seems to be a lot of work around, but I think it's getting them onto site, isn't it? It's getting projects that are actually on site and working. Yeah, but it's good. Generally, it feels reasonably buoyant. So it's very easy, isn't it? Is to play the market down if you're not careful, and feel the doom and gloom of everything that you hear and see on the news. But
And do you think that the government will hit its target of 1.5 million houses, or is it just not enough construction workers out there?
no, I can't see it. There's going to have to be a radical shift, isn't there, in something, and they haven't got long to fulfil that. So I don't think so. As I do some work with the college, as you know, and we're not seeing the numbers of people coming through for training as that you expect to see. It's they're good, but they're not great. That we need more coming through to be trained in readiness.
Also, as well, it was saying to me that a lot of the kids don't stay with the course. The not the kids dropping out is quite a high rate as well.
Yeah, I think, well, it's very difficult to sort of. I see people staying actually on the courses that I do. So it's getting them on there in the first place is the difference. I think the industry is probably seen as the dirty trades of things, but in fact there are amazing opportunities within the industry. Right from the technical digital side, right through to people that want to be involved and get their hands dirty, so to speak. So it's a wonderful industry. It's a well-paid industry, and it's a good one to be in. I mean, I've been around it most of my life, and it gets in your bones. And Simon, I know this. It's once it's in there, you stay within the sector pretty much, and so I think it's a wonderful sector to be involved in, and I would recommend anyone to go into it.
Do you know what, Kevin? I couldn't agree with you more. As well as the one of the sectors I really love working with. To be fair, I'm fortunate to go Barnwood golf days and other sort of Roberts Limbrick's golf days and a cross section of different people that work in it are just fantastic and great fun as well. That real sense of community, I think, is there within the industry as well. I totally agree with you. I'm going to bring you in now, Simon, actually, because because you're similar sort of vein of business. Do you think the government will hit the 1.5 million houses? Are there enough
No.
plumbers out there?
I completely agree that we're not going to hit that target purely because we don't have enough people in the trade to be able to produce that output. I'd also would say that again I agree. I mean, it's a great industry to work in. I mean, we work with your Barnwood, your Carters. On the main contractor side, we provide services to these companies, and they're great. They're also great companies. We're all very busy investing into our people. I think the problem we've got is a legacy. As we say, there's lots of young kids these days don't want to get their hands dirty. Everybody was sent off to university because that was the thing to do. Whereas now we've realised there was a really great opportunity for people to go into apprenticeships. And that's now really gaining some traction, but we've got a huge amount of catching up to do. So I think it's a great sector. I mean, I agree, it's quite buoyant at the moment. There's a lot of optimism. We can't get enough good people, and the ones we've got, we're desperately trying to hang on to. So all positive, really.
And now, obviously, you're the you recently became chief executive. You had this management buyout. What's the biggest lesson you learned on that, Simon?
Probably that I should have done it sooner. I think trying to get the right team in place at the right time, it has taken time. I wish I'd started the journey a little bit earlier. I've been joined by 4 other shareholders. We've brought added energy. They were already working in the business, so we all know each other. And it's been great. It's been a really good 12 months, which we're 1 year in. The business continues to grow. And the other thing we've been really busy on the last 2 or 3 years is investing in our people. And I know that can sound a bit cheesy. And if you'd asked me 10 years ago what I thought about it, I would have said it was a bit cheesy. But the reality is, the more we invest in our people and the happier they are doing their job, the better our performance is. So again, picking up on something someone else mentioned about mental health, we're running mental health and financial health help desks. We've got people who come into the business, and we afford the time and space for people to have one-to-ones to talk about their finances, their worries. There's mental health sessions, because it's all part of being that modern employer where hopefully people, we become a good place to work, and that's what we need to be to attract and keep the right people.
Okay, well, thanks ever so much. And of course, you've got a big birthday coming down the tracks as well for the company.
Well, yeah, you
60
mentioned.
years
So
old.
I'm 60 next year, Mark. So thank you for raising that. But the business is 60 this year. My father founded it back in 1965. The original business. Dad's 93. He'll be at the party. There's all sorts of plans just to try and engage with our suppliers, obviously our staff, our customers, and the whole team, because obviously we can't do any of what we do without all of them. So yeah, so we're really looking forward to celebrating our 60th anniversary.
Well, congratulations to that, and we all look forward to the invite, as they say.
Of course,
Thanks ever
Mark,
so
you've
much.
already had yours.
I know, thank you. Priti, let's bring you in, and obviously you set your business up around a year ago. What is it you actually do? You write bids, don't you? No, you got your sound off. Sorry, Priti.
Sorry again. Yeah, so I run a bid consultancy called Pretty Smart Business Solutions, and we help clients with work winning. So anything that needs support with bidding, tendering, improving your processes, that's what we do. So we manage the bids, we help you write the bids, or if you have any niggling questions or you need some kind of, could somebody help me with this? We can't understand how to go about, that's where we come in. Yeah,
Because
that.
the bid writing is such a big part of business, isn't it? At the end of the day, I mean, you can make millions and millions for companies.
Yes, that is right. Yeah. Well, I have worked in the past, and with my now new business, I've worked with companies like Balfour Beatty, and it is a big part of the business. The largest infrastructure tender which happened last year was 150 million plus for Cotswolds Visual Improvement Program, which I was involved with. And that's just not bid writing, but bringing the stakeholders together, making sure you have a compliant bid. Because once it goes to National Grid, it was a National Grid tender. It has to tick all the boxes. And yeah, you have to bring the team with you on this journey.
Now, obviously, setting up your business, you must have found a big learning curve. What was the biggest lesson that you learned setting up? And what would you say to someone who's thinking about doing it themselves?
Right. So the biggest lessons learned is take the risks, take the leap. You have one life. Speed of action. Sometimes perfectionism is not the solution. You got to be, in it. And in the past, I have been delaying things only because I wanted to be perfect, but that's not, I've learned the hard way. And using AI, I would say, use it for your benefit, because the world is going in that direction. If not, you're going to slow yourself down.
And what would you say was the number one tip for writing a bid?
In fact, I'll give two if that's okay. So always directly answer the evaluator's question before elaborating. We want to be showing that we are fancy, we are glorious or whatever, but look what they're asking for. And if you listen to that directly and answer to that, you'll get yourself the higher marks. And then the second one, I would say, use the evaluator's language, mirror the terminology and structure of the question in your response. And then this signals alignment and makes the assessor it makes their job much easier. So your aim is to make their job easier.
Okay, thanks ever so much for that, Priti. That's absolutely fantastic. Great to see you again. Okay, Gareth, let's
Thank
bring
you.
you in. Cheltenham Borough Council, thanks ever so much. I mean, what a big job you've got, look after everybody as well, Gareth. We've been trying to get you on the show for a little while. Let's talk about the Golden Valley. Where are we with the Golden Valley at this particular moment, please?
So the Golden Valley is going great guns. It was great to be in the National SAB UK conference last week and hear the Secretary of State, Pat McFadden, feature Golden Valley in his keynote address, talking about the opportunity for economic growth. So great that again, we're hitting national government in terms of the recognition. We are motoring towards planning, which we expect outline planning in the next sort of a couple of months. And then it's sort of getting contractors on board once we've got the relevant planning permissions, aiming to then be on track if we stay on programme to be opening the doors sort of first quarter 2027. So that's for the first innovation centre building, and then future phases. One of the things that's been kind of really exciting is just the amount of interest that we've had from potential occupiers, building that academic partnership. So really trying to create something special that brings together public sector, academia, private sector. Never more relevant, bearing in mind the stories that we featured this morning about cybersecurity. This whole development is about really making that difference, about improving everybody's security, and ultimately making us safer. And building an innovation campus that specifically does that. So, a real national mission, but with a huge local opportunity to create jobs and growth.
Yeah, it's very exciting. It is one of the biggest developments in the county, without a shadow of a doubt. Will devolution, if that takes place here within the county, will that have an impact on things moving forward, or is that too far down the tracks?
This is 3 hours, this show, isn't it, Mark, for devolution? So I think one of the things that's really good about working together as local authorities, we do collaborate. So, despite the fact that moving local government structures around and looking at the future of devolution, it does pose that risk, doesn't it, that it creates a bit of disruption. But what we're really trying to do as local councils is collaborate to make sure that these really big priority projects don't get impacted by us having to potentially change the shape of local government. The current timescales are that if everything goes to plan on the government's timescales, that we'll have sort of new local authorities in place by sort of May 2028. We don't quite know yet what the shape of that would be. Most of the proposals that have been put in so far is to either have one council for Gloucestershire or two. And then, of course, the devolution bit that we should never forget is the fact that the government's plan is to try and create more mayors and more regional mayors. And that's really important to make sure that Gloucestershire gets a national voice in trying to promote infrastructure projects, trying to promote economic growth, trying to attract investment. Everybody points to Andy Burnham doing a really good job at pitching Manchester. I think that one of the things that devolution can give to our region is to have those sorts of figures that really make that pitch for our region to hopefully charge economic growth, bring about opportunity.
My one worry about devolution and having mayors is that if you get a bad mayor, right, one bad leader, he leads the whole lot. At least you got it broken up. But anyway, we could talk about that forever. The municipal office, if I can say it properly, is up for sale. Any news on that at all?
Yep, so that's motoring along. We're sort of in exclusive talks with our sort of preferred bidder. I can't reveal too much about what that is, but I think one thing that my council has always wanted to do is recognising the iconic nature of that municipal office building and what it contributes to the prom. So I think that we have always come at this about making sure that we enhance and protect that iconic building and make that real contribution to the town centre. So what I can say is that I'm confident that when we do make that kind of big reveal, it is going to be a really, really exciting project and is going to be something that's going to enhance the town centre. And similarly, we as a council, we're committed to staying within, the town centre because, with our circa 450 employees, we think it's really important that we stay with a key town centre presence. So hopefully it'll be a win-win for the town centre.
Right, I was going to say about that 450 people. I don't know too many businesses or blocks within the town itself that can hold that many people. Last question, very quickly: the airport. What's happening with that? Because obviously that's up for sale as well.
Yeah, so again, we're advanced through that sort of bidding process. We're in the final rounds of talking to the final bidders. I think we've got we've been in discussions because, of course, we jointly own it. So I think Gloucester have got to take their relevant decisions, and then we can come out and make relevant announcements. Again, this is about us trying to make sure that we protect and safeguard what is a really important asset for the region, and to maintain it and develop it as an airport, because we do believe that it can make that important economic contribution to the county and the region.
Without a shadow of a doubt, I'm a big fan of Gloucestershire airports, and it's so needed here in this council. We can't lose it. Thanks ever so much for that, Gareth. Okay, we're running out of time, guys, so we're very, very quickly going to do the pick of the punchlines. I'm going to start with you, Kevin. Very quick. What's the pick this week, please?
One that caught my eye because the sun is out. Retailers making hay while the sun shines, and according to the British Retail Consortium, sales jumped by about 7%. Because the sunniest April and Easter sales were up, so keep the sunshine shining, I guess.
Did you go and buy your new pair of shorts, Kevin?
Yep.
Good. Simon, why don't you pick up the punchlines, please?
Right, okay, well, quick one. Then there's a mention of the Retrofit Roadshow, which is aimed at helping homeowners and property owners making their properties warmer and greener. And it's great that that's happening in the county again. Also, it's a big area of the business that we're involved in, working with clients to make their properties warmer, more energy efficient and more cost effective, and helping them do that on retrofit, where we're working in their properties whilst keeping their services still running. So we're working in the background. So that was great to see. There's that initiative, the roadshow, spreading the news, and yeah, excellent.
Okay, thanks for that. Priti, what have you picked out from the pick of the punchlines, please? And your mic's turned off.
Thank you again. So for me, the apprenticeships are really important for our region. And this one from South Gloucestershire and Stroud College has a number of apprenticeship opportunities in the county. They are level 3 business administrator at the Boys Who Sew Limited in Berkeley. Deadline is 31st of May. Level 3 fire emergency and security apprenticeship at Ultravision in Gloucester. Deadline is the 1st of August. The last two, level 2 carpentry and joinery apprenticeship, and the deadline is 30th of June, and the last one is level 2 ground worker apprentice at Solum Limited in Wootton under Edge. Deadline is the 1st of August. So really good.
Well, I'll make sure that Liam Evans sees this from Stroud District from the Stroud College. We'll be really chuffed he read all that out. Thanks ever so much for that, Priti. Gareth, what have you picked out for this week's punchline, please?
So this is relevant, bearing in mind you asked me the devolution question. I always think you always do such a fantastic job on Punchline and featuring stories from sort of local councils, and you're really helping us to communicate what's going on. And you featured a lot of the mayor making this week. So we had our new mayor. And with devolution and with sort of local councils potentially changing, these are people that really help to promote our towns. Our mayor did over 250 engagements last year. He raised, I think, about 70,000 for local charities. And so I suppose my question is, with local government reorganisation, do we make sure that we continue to do these sort of retain mayors? Do we allow them to go about their business in sort of promoting our towns? It's just really interesting that with the question of devolution and you featuring those stories this week makes me think about the future.
No, without a shadow of doubt. Thanks ever so much. And the mayors do an amazing job. Absolutely amazing. Doesn't matter which political party they're from, they throw themselves really into it. And the sheriffs as well. I've just got to say, they're partners that get lugged along with them. Gareth, fantastic. I just want to thank you all ever so much for joining the show today. Really, really great panel to have on today. Wonderful guests. A massive thanks to our Hazelwood's accountants and business advisors. And remember, if you like the show, please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll be back again next week. But until then, remember, it's all in the punchline. Cheerio. Bye.
Bye.